Hey, what's up, everybody? I guess we're doing a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 review. Spoiler alert, just giving everybody the heads up. I got my friend Killian McMurphy and everybody who's watching my channel. Obviously, you might know him from when I had him on with Ian Flynn for Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary. So, welcome back, man.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm very lucky to be the go-to Sonic guy, and we won't be here making Ian Flynn mad and annoying him this time. It's just us by ourselves to get crazy, and we can we can shit talk other writers as much as we want to. We don't have to be afraid anymore.
Yes, yes, yes. I am very afraid because that was pre-sponsorship, wasn't it? That was pre-sponsorship, I think, too, of my show, which is crazy. But yeah, so I don't know where to start. Where do we start with Sonic the Hedgehog 2? Because I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was so silly, um, self-aware. Uh, and just in tune with exactly what it needed to be. I mean, there were certainly parts that were very, very corny, but it knew exactly how corny it was the entire time. And I think that that level of self-awareness has something that's been across the entire Sonic the Hedgehog franchise in the last like 3 or 4 years, right? And I think this movie was the epitome of the meta era, just an absolute meme of a film, and I had so much fun the entire time.
So let me ask you a question because this is how I viewed it: is that I did not see the first one in theaters. I saw it after the fact because I was skeptical. And I think it was fair enough to be like, hey, because we all know video game movies can go one or two ways, and a lot of them are wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
And
none of them are good. I mean, even I think when the first one came out, I don't think there were any as good as the first one. Like I honestly like think that there's a big disconnect between the media of movie and video game, but when you have a character as engaging as Sonic and the other characters that exist in that universe, I think it gives you a lot to play with. And I think we found that out when they brought in Tails and Knuckles and even the characters that they developed just in this universe, like their version of Eggman. Like sometimes Jim Carrey's like, okay, Jim Carrey, but like eight, you know, 7, 8 times out of 10, I'm having fun. Like I'm having an absolute blast when he's going completely off the rails.
yeah, see that's the thing too. And he said, I think I'm retiring, and I hope he's not retiring. I hope.
I don't think so. I think it's a publicity stunt. I think he's just doing doing Jim Carrey. You know what I mean? I think he'll be back. I think he the way he talks about the role of Robotnik and the way he talks about what he wants to still do with the character of Robotnik, I honestly don't think he's going anywhere. But also part of me, we were talking off air about where I am in the Archie Sonic comics, and Robotnik's been dead for like 15, 16 issues now. And it's tough to have Sonic without Eggman. I will say that. But with the introduction of Shadow the Hedgehog
Spoiler
and
alert, guys! Spoiler
yeah,
alert.
yeah, there he is, the post credit. I freaked out every single time, and it was like I freaked out more and more. I've seen the film 3 times already.
Let's
Um,
talk about that too because I only saw it once, and I was with my two best friends, and we were like, "Oh man, this is awesome because now we form Team Hero, pretty
yeah,
much."
and we have the introduction of Shadow the Hedgehog, and not only Shadow the Hedgehog, but we have the development of Agent Stone, who's been a very, very engaging villain throughout this series and a fan favorite. And are those two enough to carry the mantle? I think that's a big question mark. But at the end of the day, I think Robotnik will be back.
Yeah, because I was going to bring this up, and I am curious about this entire thing before we get to Shadow and all that stuff. because I thought there was a bunch of stuff in this movie that was brilliant, and that they almost took a step back away from Sonic a little bit, gave obviously Sonic's sort of parents a limelight a little bit. I thought the stuff in the wedding was brilliant when Barracuda was playing, because like I felt like the entire pacing for this entire movie was just absolutely brilliant. Because we had some serious action scenes that had nothing to do with Sonic the Hedgehog. I felt like they were in a whole different movie that made amazing sense. And I
Yeah,
was just
a lot of
great.
people a lot of people don't like that. I've seen a lot of negativity as far as not anything like scathing, right? But the one takeaway from a lot of like Sonic 2 versus I didn't like the Rachel stuff. And seeing it with more casual people, they love the Rachel stuff. And me, I love the Rachel stuff. I thought it was very, very funny and a very, very clever way to introduce Gun and the Olive Garden guy being the gun commander. I think is brilliant, very funny. What a
Because
turn of events.
because my whole thing is that, and I think this is where people get hung up on all this, is that, well, you have a movie and you do need to sort of pace things out a little bit, and you need to ease people in, and you need to sort of have those one-liners and sort of that corny pop-off joke that's almost considered to be crowd work. And you're a wrestler and you understand that. Like, I've been at wrestling shows. For those who don't know, Killian's a wrestler. And I've been at wrestling shows where you yelled at the crowd, and that's crowd work, and that's how I viewed it. Where I'm like, wait a second, we're playing to the crowd a little bit, and that we're giving something to jump off of, and who knows how it's going to weave itself in, and then also throwing in Gun into there, right into that funny scene and that entire wedding scenario. Also, I felt was saying, hey, we're going to just sneak this in, and now we can build a whole bunch of stuff off of that point.
Yeah, the fact of making it a backdoor for the introduction of Gun, I think is absolutely brilliant. And I think even getting there, the journey of seeing stuff like the priest open the Bible and the gun is inside, like so many funny bits. Even when he is trying to get the ring back, when he's putting the ring on her finger during the wedding, from there all the way until the end of the wedding stuff, introduction of Gun, starting that third act, Jim Carrey gets chaos powers, I thought was very, very entertaining. I could see where people say it's a little pace breaking. I think the big romantic kiss with the flyby, I thought that was a very like self-aware meme of a moment. But I can also see where it was a little pace breaking. That's the one thing I will give it. Entertaining, but pace breaking a little bit.
See, I took it differently, but then again, I love Deadpool. And I appreciate the fact that Deadpool is so self-aware, and that with Sonic the Hedgehog too, I play the games and I know what I'm getting on the box. You know what I mean? When I look at a Sonic the Hedgehog video game, I know what game I'm getting. If that makes any sense. When I look at a Sonic the Hedgehog comic, I know what comic I'm getting. And even with this movie, I'm like, I know exactly what I'm getting. Where obviously Sonic's a self-aware character, so nothing in this movie of all the self-awareness and all the corny jokes and speed jokes and stuff like that, it phased me where I thought they were hilarious and I thought some of them were great. But it didn't. I wasn't angry because I'm like, I knew what I signed up for. And
Yeah.
I think people sometimes don't get that. And there's something to be said about, if I go to the store and I go and I'm picking up Cheerios, I expect to find Cheerios in my cereal bowl the next morning. And that's
If anybody's like freaking out about Jim Carrey flossing, it's one of those. Well, what did you expect? When he does like a little auto tune piano solo, when he goes super, very corny, but also very, very entertaining, and kind of exactly what this character would do. I don't know if you read the prequel comic which is the in between IDW, and did a little in between comic of the Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, the films. And apparently, according to this, Robotnik has just been tripping on mushrooms this entire time. I don't know if you saw that panel or if you got to pick up that comic, but it's very, very entertaining and explains some cool stuff, including like those weird bird people that come with Knuckles. It explains who they are and where they're from, because they kind of seem out of place. But I would definitely recommend it. But at the end of the day, like if a guy's been tripping on mushrooms for a year and a half, 2 years on this planet, that's all he's had to eat. Of course, he's going to be whacked out of his mind. So I love the character development of Robotnik. He can be off his rocker, completely forget the rocker, throw it in the fire.
Yeah, no, I did not get to read the comic book, but I sort of figured out that he was tripping on some shrooms for sure. Because even just the opening scene of the movie is pretty crystal clear that he's tripping on something, and he hasn't been sane for a long time on the planet.
Yeah, he absolutely kills this role, and it's exciting to see an actor who's notorious for like bouncing around and not staying put places. Like I don't want to be penciled into this kind of role. I don't want to be penciled into this character. It's really cool to see him sink his teeth into a character because he sees how much mobility and how much development and how much room for growth he has as Eggman. Like he's seen the development of Eggman throughout the years, and even what he can do with the character. And his eyes light up in interviews. It's so exciting to see such a cool actor be so down for a stupid hedgehog movie.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's so stupid anymore. I mean, it's
Well,
brilliant.
right. It might not be, right. Is it mainstream? Is it just mainstream this week? Let's see if it holds on. Knuckles is getting his own series, a spin-off series on Paramount Plus. That's wild. That's mind blowing to me.
See, this is the whole thing. See, this is where I think is what's going on. So I don't know if you've read and looked at the numbers for Ambulance, which is this big action film, and Sonic the Hedgehog is an action film. And Sonic the Hedgehog smoked Ambulance,
Yeah,
where
and
Ambulance
Morbius
barely,
too.
yeah, I think Morbius did better than the Ambulance, but Ambulance is going to be lucky if it does 20 mil. Sonic the Hedgehog in its opening weekend did like 150 million plus in the box office,
Crazy,
and
wild.
so
It's
it's
because I
proving.
saw it 3 times.
Yeah. You're solely responsible here. Solely responsible. And also, what I love is, and then going back to my point, what it is that it's crystal clear to me that people are willing to spend money, and families are willing to spend money, and that's why I think this is doing really well. Because I don't have kids yet, I don't think you have kids yet, but it's the idea that if I had a 9-year-old, I think you would feel very comfortable if you had a 9-year-old, or you had a 9-year-old nephew or something like that, bringing them to this versus a PG-13 movie or a rated R movie. Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. That's also a big factor. Is this movie has proven that families are willing to spend money for good content they feel is not going to hurt or mess with their kid.
Yeah, I when I've gone, it's primarily families that I see in the theaters, and it's exciting that this was only released in theaters because of how much like streaming services have been getting these new movies, and I'm guilty of it. I have watched Jackass forever, didn't watch it in the theaters, waited until Paramount Plus got it. You know, was super excited when Soul or Turning Red more recently even came out on Disney Plus instead of theaters. It's really, really cool to get back into the movie theater and feel like people, and it might just be me being in this Sonic bubble, right? But feeling like there is something drawing people to the movie theater as like a big event. Like, let's all go see this series that we all are excited about.
Let me ask you a question. So you saw it 3 times. Who did you see it with exactly? Did you see it with your friends? Did you see it with, somebody else? Did you see it by yourself? Because for me, I saw it with my 2 best friends, and we've been playing Sonic the Hedgehog for the last 20 years. So me and my friends understand Sonic the Hedgehog. We've read the comics, and so we came out to go see the movie the day after it was released purposely because we don't want to go on the first day and deal with crowds. But it was the idea that I saw it with my friends, and so I'm curious how you saw it because when I saw it, as you stated, there was a lot of families in there, and you could tell like all the kids knew these characters,
Yeah.
and I would say the average age was maybe like 9 to 11, and I'm 29. So this is a multi-generational thing. And I'm like now having a connection when an 11-year-old knows Sonic the Hedgehog. I know Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's just a testament to who Sonic the Hedgehog is.
Right. Yeah, 100%. I saw it with just different groups of friends all 3 times. But I would say I was really the only intense Sonic fan of anyone that I saw it with. I mean, my friends know a little bit from being around me. Dustin, of course, plays video games,
Yeah, I know who Dustin is.
so he knows a good amount about Sonic the Hedgehog, and a few of our actor friends are the same way. They've played a few games, but I'm the only person who's like, for example, ever picked up a Sonic comic. I'm the only person that knows who Mammoth Mogul is. Dustin does, but just because of me memeing about Mammoth Mogul. But
And the ice
it
cream.
was cool to see them get excited for this movie. And of course, I already bought my tickets way in advance. But for them, as it got closer, each little friend group being like, when are we seeing Sonic? When are we seeing Sonic? When are we seeing Sonic? I feel like you said, it's not stupid anymore, which is mind
So
blowing.
I'm going to ask you a question because I came in to the theater one way. And then I came out of the theater just smiling and just be like, oh man, like this changed my attitude because it was that type of movie. And it sounds weird when I say it, but I was happy when I went into the theater. I was super stoked. But I was like, oh man, I'm in a good mood. I wound up going to Dunkin' Donuts afterwards, slash the gas station, which has a Dunkin' Donuts in it. And like it just seemed like the whole entire world was just a nicer place after the movie for like the next like 24 hours.
I used the term on Twitter. I said the film has Jokerized me. I also took a bunch of mushrooms myself going into. The first time I saw it with a friend, early access. So it came out Friday. We saw it the Wednesday before, and if you see, it's posted all over social media. The picture of me in front of the poster like this, I am absolutely flying. And then the second time I saw it, it was with a large group of like 10 of us. And I was very, very, very drunk this time. And then the last time I was just normal base level Killian. And enjoyable film every time. When I was on mushrooms, that's when Jim Carrey was the most grating. But it's kind of like you're in tune with the universe, so the joke hits you like 30 seconds before he even says it. You like see it coming, and you're like, okay, get it over with. And then Jim Carrey just dwells on it, and you're like, okay, get it over. But then when you're drunk, you're like, funny man, do dance. Very different experiences. I definitely recommend doing that.
Well, I don't want to incriminate myself right now. I'm like, yeah. Me and my friends were tempted to go see it drunk, and we are gonna sneak alcohol totally in, which is the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. We walked there, and I grabbed minis at the liquor store. Got a big old soda, and was throwing them in there. It's the only reason to ever pay for a movie theater drink, right?
That or there are other reasons. That's not the point.
And but it was such a fun experience. I love going to the theater. I love that there's, with and I talked about this on the MCW podcast I was on recently. The nichification, for lack of a better word, of culture, where everybody has our little holes where we fall into. I really, really like, I don't know, let me pick something besides Sonic. It's hard to. I'm on an 8-hour deep dive right now on Bomberman on YouTube. And not very many people I know would watch an 8-hour video on Bomberman. But these videos and these platforms and these um, like channels of entertainment exist where I can just deep dive into this one specific thing, and that's what everyone has done. Everyone has their specific thing, whether it's YouTube or whether it's like binging a series on Netflix. But it's really, really cool to see. I feel like a lot of people coming into my niche thing, and I don't know how long this is going to last, but
See,
it's very,
think
very cool.
I think it's here to stay, and here's why I say that. Knuckles is getting his own TV show on Paramount Plus with the same voice actor of Knuckles, which
Yeah.
is, I think that's the even bigger deal, because I forget his name, and I'm horrible at saying that guy's
Idris
name.
Elba.
Yeah, but the fact that he wants to say, "Hey, I want to stay with Knuckles,"
He loves
that's
the
how
character. It's so cool.
and so I think it's kind of cool now. Where I don't know if you because you're around my age, right?
Yes, a little younger, but around your age.
Which makes me realize I'm not all that successful. Fuck. But you remember that everybody was cool with Pokemon back in the day, and then everybody hits like 5th, 6th grade, and then Pokemon's not cool again now.
Right.
But I never grew out of Pokemon. I never grew out of anime. And now, fast forward, I'm 29. Everybody's like, "Oh man, anime's the shit." Like stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog. I was into it when I was like 11, and you're like, "That's for children, Andrew." And then it's like, but now it's cool again. So
Yeah, now
it's
Meg the Stallion is talking about Sasuke. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't even know who that is, but I know that's an anime thing.
Yeah, it's a Naruto thing, guys.
That's
So
it.
only the
That's
kids,
it.
only the kids who got shoved into lockers know that. Like,
Right, exactly. And now you have like arguably the hottest woman on the planet rapping about it. Insane. Mind blowing.
and so it's just one of those things that it's just like and I don't think it's going to leave, because I think what's happened now is that pop culture and nerd culture has won. And that I mean, there's a reason why I buy and sell comics. I make a lot of money buying and selling comics that I've been collecting for years, because now everybody wants all of the stuff that I have, and it just goes to show that being a nerd and collecting this shit makes you cool. And even tabling the money, people are like, "You got a Sonic one? Oh, that's awesome, man. I wish I had one of those." Like, I've had conversations with people with certain things like this, and they're like, "You have certain books?" Like, how? And it's, well, came out 14 years ago. And remember when you were showing me in the locker?
Now they're doing a 12-part miniseries on Disney Plus about this specific comic, so it spiked it up. Or now Logan Paul is talking about this Pokemon card, so it's spiked way up.
I'll ask you a question that'll be mind-boggling to you. So Moon Knight's first appearance is in Werewolf by Night number 32. A 9.8 is one of the highest graded comic books that you can get graded. What do you think that book is worth right now?
I don't know. I am terrible with comic books, but I'm gonna guess $700.
Oh no, it's a $70,000 book.
Whoa, that's crazy.
And this is what my point is, that that's why I think this stuff is here to stay. And they obviously greenlit the third movie, and we got to talk about that because Shadow pops up, and we're going into Adventure 2, aren't we?
I don't think we're going to get the same Shadow. I mean, we've already met the Gun Commander, and we know how, according to the game Shadow the Hedgehog, we know how essential the Gun Commander is to the story of Shadow the Hedgehog, and I don't think they're going to put all that on the Olive Garden guy. So I think we're going to get a very different, just like we have a very different Knuckles. I mean, not insanely different, right? But the backstory of Knuckles, besides Lock and Interjack, is very, very different from everything we've ever seen. So I think that actually can lead to some really cool Shadow Sonic polar opposites tugging at each other, in a sense that their backstories are even connected in a way that we don't see in the games. Like, there is that long fan theory about, like, oh, they saw the mural on the wall, and we won't get into that because we don't really have the time. But if you're a Sonic fan, you know the theory we're talking about. But what's cool is they can cement something like that. They can put that on the screen in a finite little tight-knit package that we will never ever get in the Sonic games, or even probably the IDW comics, because they're so entrenched with the games.
Yeah, but I mean, I was a little bit shocked, and I'm curious how you feel about this. Is that I thought they were going to mention, oh, there's another hedgehog, and it would have been implied, and we all know it wouldn't have been Silver. We all sort of knew that when they were referring to another hedgehog, it's Shadow. But the
Yeah,
fact that they even showed parts of Shadow, I thought was a big,
they show
big.
all of them. Also, it could be Amy. You have people, you would upset a lot of people by not talking about Amy right there. You make a lot of people mad. Don't laugh. You would. You know you would.
I mean, I'm expecting Amy in the next movie. I'm expecting Rouge in the next movie. I'm expecting Cream in the
That's a
next movie.
lot. I'm not expecting all those motherfuckers. No way. No way. I'm
I'm
expecting
expecting certain people in there, you know?
Shadow and maybe Metal Sonic. I think are going to be. I was hoping for Metal Sonic this movie. I was hoping that that's the payoff on the quill, but those are the two I'm hoping for. And maybe if they're going to do a fourth, and God knows, like, series go to 1 million now, Fast and Furious 385. If they're going to do a fourth one, maybe tease Chaos at the end. Like, I think Chaos would be a cool
I
villain.
think number 4 we're getting Chaos without a doubt. I don't know if we're gonna go down the road of Metal Sonic because I don't know if Metal Sonic can hold a movie. Like that's my problem. I think Chaos can hold a movie. Shadow can hold
I
a
mean,
movie.
have you seen the OVA?
I have, but like I just feel like Metal Sonic is almost too cliche at this point because we've seen like robots and we've seen robotic hedgehogs.
I think if you bring him in as, like, a surprise villain, like Robotnik's been working on this, I don't think you make him the primary villain by any means. But I think it's one of those, they think they have Robotnik beat. Fuck you. Here's Metal Sonic. But I'm glad I brought that up because that's a good transition because we're wrapping up here. Because I talk about that more on the upcoming episode of Birds on Film, available on YouTube. It's going to be Birds on Film Sonic 2 review. I don't know what Dustin's going to call it, but if you don't subscribe to Birds on Film, it is Dustin Wilson, Erica Lee. They have a fantastic movie review show, and I'm very, very lucky that they brought myself and another filmmaker friend of ours on, Kyle Walls, to talk about Sonic 2 the day after. Not the day after, the night we saw it in theaters. We come back and we lay down a very, very entertaining, very, very wild review. But we make a lot of fantastic points. So if you enjoyed me talking and blathering about the funny blue rat on this, please check it out. Birds on Film on YouTube. That's all I'm going to plug. I'm not even going to plug my social media. Just watch Birds on Film. Birds on Film. Birds on Film.
And if you want to plug your social media, it's not that hard. You can go plug it.
Nope. I just only want people to go to YouTube and type in Birds on Film and subscribe. And that Sonic episode is coming, I believe, by the end of the week. I believe that's when you'll see it. But in the meantime, go watch their review of Boss Baby. Go watch their review of Moonstruck. I believe they have a Despicable Me a review coming up. They're reviewing Minions, and I think they're going to do a very similar thing with Minions 2 Rise of Gru that we did with Sonic 2, where they're going to go see it, come back, lay down the recording. So a lot of really, really cool stuff coming for Birds on Film. That's why I'm here. Go check out Birds on Film.
Oh, you heard it here. Go check it out, everybody. On that point, and then I'm just going to plug myself because this is my show. So obviously, I'm Pop Anime Comics on Twitter. You can bug me on Facebook, Pop Anime Comics, YouTube, Pop Anime Comics. I run a show 4 to 5 times, usually every single week, interviewing a lot of comic creators, wrestlers, cosplayers, and voice actors. You never know when somebody from Sonic the Hedgehog might pop up in one of my videos / live interviews. And I appreciate all of that. I am also contenting out a bunch of stuff. So I do have conversations in Pop Culture Shorts, which is basically a micro clipping the entire channel where I just take the highlights from interviews. So go check that out. As well as I have a TikTok, Comic Book Knowledge. And I've been dropping a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog facts, everybody. So if you want to actually know about Sonic the Hedgehog and all fun sorts of shit and giggle stuff, and Sonic might be a Super Saiyan, I'm just saying, you never know. That's where you should go check it out. I'm going to put all that stuff in the link after I'm done ending this entire interview, as well as their link to that channel, so everybody can easily access it. And yeah, so that's, I think, all I got. Also, you can buy my t-shirt, guys, because I'm broke and I need the money. It's a Gundam thing, so go buy my t-shirt. It's on Redbubble. I will also share that link as well. You can get it 16 colors if you like tacos, Gundam, or Fallout, or you just like supporting an independent show that interviews a lot of cool people. There you go. And I also have these bad boys up as well, which are my metal cards, limited to 50. She's hot, but she's a psycho killer too. So as much as I would like to wake up next to her, I might be dead if I do. So go buy the card instead. It's much safer. And on that note, you can wrap us out, man.
Me? You're going to put it on me?
I mean, you're the professional, clearly.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We will see you again for Sonic 3 and Birds on Film on YouTube. Birds on Film, Birds on Film.
And that's a wrap, everybody.